Okay. Live video is starting. Okay, perfect. We are live on Facebook, and I am here with Celine de for the Wild Mom podcast. I am so excited to have you here to talk about self-care for moms and frequencies and all the fun stuff in between. And if you are tuning in live, you will see that Celine is wearing something very special, which we'll be talking about later. But welcome, Celine, to the podcast and share with us about yourself and your journey, and then we'll dive right into all the fun stuff.
Okay, great. Well, first off, Emily, thank you for having me. I absolutely love your work and what you do. You help so many other moms really connect with their child on such a deeper level. And it's just so beautiful to witness your journey and take in all of the lessons that you apply in your life and applying that into my life too. So I just wanted to honor that before we get started. And yeah, so my name is Celine de like
Oh, I
Emily
pronounced it wrong. I
mentioned.
apologize.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's good. I'm French, so I'm going to pronounce a lot of English words wrong. So Emily, you jump in and you help me out in that one. And I like to call myself an intuitive healer, and it's really shifted over the years. But what I really do at the core is I've been through a lot of different things in my life that I will give a summary of just so you understand where I'm coming from. And from those, I've helped move myself through that experience and then really apply these different self-care tools and methods in my own life. And now helping other women, specifically moms, to do that in their own life and to really take their power back and to help them rise through the chaos. And so over the years, I remember coming home one day back in 2016. I just had my son at the time, and I had the whole outside world put together, right? I had the beautiful home I was going to build on the lake. I had this dream job with my family business, selling high-end custom homes and doing interior design and really loving what I did. However, I felt broken inside and I couldn't understand why, right? Outside looking in, my life looked perfect, but I just felt this emptiness and this craving for something deeper, something like I wanted to live at the edge of my soul and I didn't know how. And so one day I came home and my body, right? Our body speaks to us in different ways, usually before the mind does, because our body remembers. And so my body collapsed on the floor, and that was a turning point for me. I decided to step into this intuitive work, this, inner healing, self-development, energy, frequency, all of these different modalities. I was listening to it on YouTube, reading all of these books, and it really started shifting my life to a point where people thought I was bipolar, right? Because I was one way. And then when we do, rather it's quantum leaps or big changes and transformation in our life, sometimes not everyone will understand that around us, right? And we will provide tools in this podcast to kind of help you move through that process, because that's the first step. When we first jump into this inner work, this frequency work, this inner healing work, not everyone is meant to come on our journey. So the first step would be to clear that out, right? So that's what happened in my life. I like to call it a tower moment, where I had to really take inventory of my life and see what was aligning with me or not. But it wasn't my job to grab people by the hand and force them into my journey. It was more or less me rising into my own greatness as I honored the human experience, but then also creating a safe place for others to join me on that journey for those who were ready. And then when those who weren't ready, for example, like I went through a separation after having my first son. So unfortunately that had to happen. And I lost a lot of friends along the way. And I was at the bottom to a point where I was alone. And I didn't know, how to manifest this dream life I had, but I trusted the process. And when I did, all these beautiful people and all these beautiful opportunities started showing up, and I started building this new life from the inside out instead of from the outside in, right? So moving through that experience, I went through a separation. I lost a lot of, friends. I left a really successful business and started from scratch. And then my sister-in-law unfortunately passed away from stage 4 cancer. It was a 3-year long battle that we will talk about maybe today or maybe another day, but just the Coles notes. We did work together for 3 months, and we were able to actually shrink a tumor that the doctors said would take a miracle to shrink. She had 3 of them. And we worked on the one with the energy healing work that I was providing and very intuitive work that I was doing for about a few months. And so the scan before and prior actually showed the tumor shrinking, and the doctor looked at her and said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. And then life happens, right? We are, like Emily mentions a lot in her post, we get sucked in sometimes by fear and by conditioning and by beliefs. And we have doctors telling you, well, you have to have surgery, you have to do this. Unfortunately, that path took over, and that's okay. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough, right, to help her heal the cancer. And so this has shifted my journey now to talk about why I'm here, and what I'm going to share with you is now it's a deeper journey for me now to not only help us transform our life, but to help us become our own healers to a point where I have witnessed the transformation of a tumor shrinking from this work. And it's just about being consistent with that process and using the proper tools in order for us to do what's best for us, right? I always say follow our intuition and do what's right for us. There's no wrong or right path to really kind of cultivate this life from the inside out. And so here I am now after, a whole year of grief and using frequency and these self-care tools to really take this to a deeper level, because I feel like grief is like the bottom that you can hit, right? When you lose somebody that you love, it really shifts everything for you. And so here I am and going to provide self-care tools, easy self-care tools that we can implement in our life every day that you can start today. So Emily, I hope that was a good background story.
That was amazing. And I thank you for your openness and your vulnerability because I know myself, I experienced postpartum depression and people just don't talk about it. We
No.
just kind of just push it underneath the rug that it doesn't actually happen or no, everyone's going through it, but it's something that is serious. It's something that affects so many moms. And I went through the same thing as you did, where there was one day where I just fell to the ground and I said, Creator, God, universe, like, I need help.
Mhm.
And that's when things began to shift for me, and I got more downloads and activations, resources, opportunities, like you had mentioned. When you fully open yourself up to the universe and just surrender, so many beautiful things come into your life. So I want to talk about one of the beautiful things that I'm not sure if it came into your life after this breakdown or before, but you are wearing it. What are you wearing, and how has that helped you?
Yes. And before I get to this,
Yeah.
actually, I wanted to insert the postpartum thing. That was
Yeah.
another thing, Emily, that I've currently experienced this year, having my second baby. I have a baby girl who's 10 months. And to a point where this thing that I'm wearing has helped me tremendously. And so this is a frequency device. And so if you are familiar with energy healing or Reiki or theta healing or, quantum healing, whatever it may be, we all know that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, meaning that the science have now tested, right? If you take 2 buckets of water and you fill it with positivity and love and nurture and compassion, those molecules in the water are working together in harmony. When you expose it to negativity, to fear, to stress that's not managed properly, and all of that, then the molecules are not working in harmony anymore, and it creates incoherence. And so now science is catching up with the whole energy term. So us being these airy fairies back in the day, being like, I know this works and doing all that fun stuff. Now we've got like quantum science, like that is really taking this to the next step. So what I'm wearing is the frequency device. And I remember sitting on my couch the one day and asking the universe, like Emily said, and being open after my sister-in-law passed away, saying, okay, I am meant to help a woman with self-care, right? I couldn't be there for her 24/7. And I can't blame her with all the doctor appointments, and she was going through chemo and all that fun stuff. And I'm like, what? Like Jess, like her name is Jessica. So I was like, Jess, I was connecting with her and using this energy work and spiritual work. And I said, give me a sign. Like, what can I do to not only help other women across the world, but what can I do to even help myself during these darkest times and these darkest moments? Because as we do this work, right, we sometimes forget to do it for ourselves. And we need to be leaders in this industry and lead by example. And being so busy, and I was starting to implement all these practices. This video came up of someone who shared this and how much it changed their life. And right there and then, it was like a download. I couldn't believe the synchronicity that it happened. And I felt this intuitive pull. So I started looking at the videos and seeing what it did. And my mind was blown. I was like, wow, this is the easiest self-care tool for me personally, right? There's many of them out there, and I believe in all different types of healing modalities, right? They all work in harmony together. But this little tool, right, this frequency device is beautiful because what it does is it scans your body and it tells you what you need on a physical, on a emotional, and on a spiritual level. And we'll dive deeper on exactly what it can do for you, but on a simple terms, you don't need to understand the energy world and you don't need to understand the physics world of things. What you need to do is just show up and have an open heart. And the more that we can let go of the resistance, right, when we use this, the more the energy will flow. So as it scans us, what it does is it pops up different programs, recommendations, so that it could feed your body the frequency that it needs in order to thrive. And not only on your bioenergetic level, right? So if you think of us as human bodies, they can now read our bioenergetic frequency. So we all emanate this frequency around us. And that is actually where all of the information of the quantum world is in, all of our traumas in, and traumas that are held from ancestral, ancestral patterns. So for example, our grandparents and our parents. So when our mother was born, or when our grandmother was pregnant with our mom, right? Think of this. I think it's Dr. Bruce Lipton that did the study. Anything that all of the future embryos of our mother's children, right, were held in our grandmother. So long story short, anything that our grandmother felt, we felt on a cellular level without even recognizing it. And that's what creates in our subconscious mind all of these conditionings, all these patterns. And sometimes we don't understand, like, why do I feel this way, or what's going on, right? This thing, it can actually read all of that in your bioenergetic field, and you don't have to understand it if you don't want to. It just brings up a program and it feeds you the frequency through 3 different methods that we'll discuss. And then you will feel lighter and you will feel better and you'll have more energy, more clarity to move through everyday life. So to move through whatever it is that you're going through.
I absolutely love that. And as you were saying that, I just got a wave of truth bumps and I actually just got a ringing in my ear. So let me just tune into what that was for you.
Hmm.
So I actually just got the message from the angels that this is a piece of wisdom that we have shared with you to help you in the ascension journey. So I completely agree with everything that you're saying. I love everything that you're saying. And I've actually had a couple of sessions done on myself for, I don't know if you mentioned what it's called yet, did you?
No, I'm saving that for last. That's
Okay.
what it's Healy. Yeah, Healy.
Okay.
Healy.
Okay. So yeah, I had a couple sessions on myself when I was pregnant. And I think I had a protocol for sleep because in the last trimester, like I just wasn't sleeping. And that night I had the greatest sleep and I was like, oh my God, I need this. I need this now. I need this all the time. And I think it's just such a valuable tool to have as moms because when we are in that postpartum period, especially in the first, I'd say year for myself, like that postpartum year or time lasted a year, to have a tool that you don't have to really think about, that's just a mindless thing that, but it's sending you healing, I think is so valuable because we don't have the time to meditate for an hour. Thankfully,
No.
sometimes my husband's home and I'm like, hey, I gotta take some time, but we don't all have that luxury, right? If we're single moms, if we're working, if we're taking care of our kids, if we're running our own business, right? Like you and myself, we don't always have the time to be sitting in meditation for an hour or going out to get an hour long theta healing, Reiki session, acupuncture, whatever it may be, that having this little tool, all you have to do is either clip it on you or have it beside you. it's something that you can do while you're breastfeeding, while you're
Exactly.
changing your baby's diaper. Like, I think it's just so powerful. And so I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into what are some of the protocols. I know that's what they're called, right? The protocols
Yep.
that can be done for moms.
Yeah, so there's different ways that we can use this. So before we dive into the protocols, I just kind of want to explain the three easy methods because I agree with Emily. The reason why I love this tool so much is because I applied all the other ones. I do meditation, I do the hypnosis. Like I can share my self-care tools and rituals at the end of this for you to take home with you. But what I love about Healy is that it's quick, it's easy, and it's effective. And all we need to do is be open and present to receive. And especially like Emily was saying, I'm still going through my postpartum, right? I'm 10 months in, and I agree with Emily that I'm not quite there yet. I still have moments of depression and anxiety. And for me to say that, I'm here to share the raw and real experience of this, not just to be that light, but to be that human version of me, right? And so there are different protocols for the Healy. But there's three ways that it delivers energy. So quickly, there's one that is through scalar waves, right? So it's Tesla technology. This is one of the easiest ways that I use for every day. And what I love about it, because Healy to follow protocol, right? They haven't released anything that we can use it with our children yet. Okay, for this is why I use this one because it sends Tesla technology. But when it comes to actually the bracelets, and then you have, so you just hook these on, right, to your wrists. I'll just show you quickly. And then I'll talk about different protocols and ways that I've used it in my life to help me on many, many different ways. So you just put on the bracelet, quick and easy. And then you clip this in, you take this out, right? If you don't want to use it wirelessly, you clip this in, and this actually feeds your cells directly, right? So remember I was talking about the bioenergetic field and how just it helps you on a spiritual level. It actually helps you on a cellular level. So it delivers your cells energy, right? And your cells have to work at optimal energy in order for you to function properly every day. So think of moms, we just delivered a baby, right? And we are recovering, and we don't all have that support system. Like I remember my mom leaving in January, and she's my number one support system for a couple of months. She was traveling, and it was winter was long. My partner was working, and it was hard, and it was hard. I was grieving, and so this thing has worked wonders on my sleep, has worked wonders on my mental health, right? To help me, like I said, when I was breastfeeding, and I also bottle fed, right? So I believe in both, and just help me in so many different ways. And so that's the second way that you can use it. And then the third way, if you have any physical pain, so think of after you deliver a baby, and I know Emily does a lot of the womb work on the energetic level. And so if you're having any physical pains, right, there's these electrodes that you can just stick on it, right? And then you'd clip it in again, and then you would put it on anywhere in your body, right? So if you have pain on your neck, so I was getting a lot of the stress with the tension and everything. I was getting a lot of migraines during my postpartum. So I would just plug this in the back. And then for 20 minutes, as you know, if I wasn't co-sleeping with her, right? Because again, would be feeding it to the baby, and there isn't any studies yet. I know it's coming out, but yet that we can use it on our children. So if we hold our baby while we have this, not ideal. I would prefer using this one, right, which is wireless. But once they're sleeping and they're napping for 20 minutes, it's a 20-minute protocol for migraines. So any physical pains, or if you're working on your hips, or if you're working on your womb, or whatever it is, the back tension that you may have. So this is excellent, not only for energetic level and raising your vibration, but it's also really, really good for any physical system that you might be experienced during postpartum. And that includes depression, that includes anxiety, that includes so many different things. So for the protocol, there is a two ways. So there is a, like I said, it reads your body and what it is that you need. So it pops up 5 or 6 top programs, and you could pick the top 3 that works best for you, and then you use that protocol accordingly, right? It's easy. It tells you exactly how to use it. And then the second way is, let's say you get up one day and you're like, you know what? I have this X symptom. You can open up this app and put in that symptom, and then it'll actually tell you the top programs for that specific symptom. So there's 2 different ways. It picks up what it is that's going on in you. And if you want to say, there is an actual symptom that I'm working with, you can plug that in and then it'll give you the program. So depending on what it is that you want, Emily, those are the protocols that it will provide for you for the Healy and the frequency delivery.
I think this needs to be in every postpartum care package, just someone's own Healy, because the amount of things that in my head I'm like, oh my God, I could have been using it for breastfeeding, for increasing my breast milk supply. I could have been using it for sleeping. And even though there haven't been studies, like you said, on children, just by us receiving the healing, it's still going to our kids, whether we're
100.
holding them, whether we're breastfeeding them, the healing that we're doing on ourselves, which is, again, you know this, I talk about it for all my posts. The importance of us as moms doing our healing is so our kids can receive that through us. Because again, like you mentioned, we're holding on to generational beliefs and generational trauma that if we heal ourselves through technology like this, then our kids are going to feel the effects of it. They're going to receive it. So even though there's no studies out yet, I know that it can still be used to help our kids.
100%. I love how smart you are and intuitive you are that way. And that's what it is like Emily was saying, she's helping specifically like, moms with connecting with their children. And then like I can come in and help you specifically, right? That in turn helps your children because your children are vibrational beings and they can feel your energy. Right. So if we're depleted and we're depressed and we have anxiety, which is 100% normal, by the way, in your postpartum journey, right? We're not here to shame. We're not here to say to mask it. We're not here to say, X, Y, Z. We're here to embrace that, to say, hey, no wonder why we're going through that. Maybe we don't have the support system that we need. And this is a beautiful support system on an energetic and on a cellular level that you can work with. That's super easy and that's versatile in all of your healing journey within that year. And then also moving forward. Right. And so, yeah, it's just been so amazing. And like just a few examples for me, Alea is my daughter's name. And whether sometimes she's teething or if she's sick, like, I do the energy work and all of that protocol with her in my own intuitive way. But then, there's everyday life that's like, she's not napping. I'm going to go for a car ride and listen to a podcast like this and feed my energetic system in my mind and raise my vibration. And then I plug this in and you can drive even, right? Drive with the ones like while you're feeding your cells, you can maximize your time and maximize your healing as a mom. And if we don't, I find that, it makes the journey much harder if we can't maximize it because we don't have a lot of time at the end of the day. And all moms know how busy it is. Just whether a stay-at-home mom or you're a working mom or you're doing both and you're maybe running a business, like it doesn't matter where we're at. Time is very precious. And so how can we use this time to really maximize our healing so that we can be present with our children when we are there with them, right?
Mhm. Can this tool, technology, be used when you're pregnant as well?
So that will be a certain protocol. There are protocols for that when you are pregnant. So this will be a video that I would like to bring my partner in because she's been in here longer and has actually helped a woman in pregnancy. I'm not quite there yet to speak about it, I'll be honest. So I would rather get someone else in. So if we want to do a second part of that, or if anyone needs any information, I do have the information. I'm just not qualified yet or comfortable yet and know the protocol at 100% to share that. So there are certain restrictions that you should be using when you are pregnant, but you can definitely use it. But I just won't share the protocol on that today.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because I know that there are so many restrictions on pregnancy, but
Yeah.
like we are all frequency at the end of the day, right? So in my head, I'm like, well, we're already receiving frequencies. There seems to be no protocol or no limitations on the EMF waves that pregnant women receive. But then a healing modality, it's like, oh, we need to be really careful of what we say. So it's very interesting that still there is this fear around
Mhm.
something as powerful and as natural as this beautiful tool. So just because it triggered the message with regards to EMF waves, because there is the like, is it wireless when it's just attached to you? Are there EMF waves that are being sent to you and or your baby?
Great question. And I agree with you, Emily, and I want to expand on that as well. But to do the EMF waves, so how it works, it connects to your iPhone or whatever phone that you have, right? Think of it like an online system. So what it does is once you pick the program that you want, it downloads that program into the Healy. And then once it's in the Healy, what you can do is you can turn off the Bluetooth and you will still have that benefit. So you can turn off the Bluetooth, which eliminates the EMFs so that you don't feed that to your body. Okay, so that would be the number one thing. So it's up to you if you want to turn it on or off. So that's the beautiful thing of it, is that you don't have to feed your body the EMF in order to use it, but to download the program, it takes about maybe a minute, if that, depending on the internet speed. You do need the Bluetooth.
And you can always keep that away from you at that time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So once you connect to it, right, it's super easy. And there's also a protocol program on there for EMFs as well. So like, I know like there's so many technologies that we have right now that we're using that is, affecting our energetic field and whatnot. So there is a program on there to help you heal with EMFs as well. And I want to expand too, Emily, on that. It's so funny how there's such a strict protocol on something that's so beneficial for you, right? Mm-hmm. And to expand a little bit on Healy in the next couple of minutes, is Healy's only been around for about 5 years. And what I love about Healy is that it's the only frequency device right now in the market that has that specific tool inside in order to read your bioenergetic field. So that's something special. And so when we talk about intuition, right, think of this being an intuitive tool, right? Mm-hmm. It's tapping into that quantum field in order to tell you what it is that you need. So it's like this little intuitive device that we have. And so this is also a grade 2 medical device here in Canada. It's different protocols in different countries. And when Marcus developed this, Marcus is he's a quantum physicist out in Germany, but he also went to go be a monk. So he has both sides of things, which I did a video this morning. I'm all about not only the spiritual, being a spiritual being and being magnetic, but I'm also about, we're here to be human, and we're here to understand the pain and to move through it and to be raw and real and vulnerable. Like, that's the magic of the human experience. And so how can we honor both? That's what Marcus did. He understood the physics side of things and how the quantum field works. And he also went to go be a monk and understand how to move through the pain and all that fun stuff. So blending that together in this little device, he wanted to go to the doctors. That was his first way of delivering this. It wasn't through the people. It was through doctors. But then he realized how many restrictions there was. And, he was like, there's no way, like, I'm getting goosebumps right now. There's no way that this planet, like, he's got a big dream of bringing self-care tools like this into like millions of homes across the world, right? And we get to be part of this. And the reason why that's so moving is because we are taking our, again, Emily, help me with this word, but sovereignty is, how do you say that? Thank you. That's my French. We're taking our sovereignty back, our freedom back, because again, and this comes from past generations as well, but we have a responsibility now to look at the system and understand that it may serve us in a certain way, but there's lacks in it, and that's okay. There's lacks, but we need to stand up and understand that there are lacks and there are other alternatives and other ways such like this that we can implement. And let's take our freedom back, right? Before, and I don't mean to sound cliche, but because I lost my sister-in-law to stage 4 cancer, like, before it's too late, and it's never too late if you look at the spiritual side of things, because I know she's going to reincarnate and come back on this earth and blah, 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 and whatever that you believe in. But what I'm saying is that, like, how can we live to the fullest capacity with these self-care tools and really take our power back? So on that rant, Emily, I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, no, I love everything you say. And the fact that he went to doctors too. I remember my husband was working at a wellness clinic for a little while, and they actually had their hands on Tesla technology. So there's amazing Tesla technologies that apparently all doctors' offices had. And then suddenly big pharma comes in and says, well, we can't make money if everyone's healed with Tesla equipment, so we're going to get rid of them. And so the fact that now we have access to Tesla technology is amazing, because I remember going and I received a healing on it for my shoulder, again, the whole stress of motherhood. And after one session, I was like, oh my God, this is great. I can move again. I don't have the pain. And then I thought, well, yeah, it makes sense why Big Pharma would get rid of this technology and put all these limitations and restrictions on it, because there's no opportunity to make money there. And so if we're our own healers, we are, like you said, taking back our sovereignty. We're taking back our freedom. We're taking back our ability to manifest and create our own reality. And as moms, that's such an important self-care tool. So I thank you for bringing this forward and sharing this with the Wild Mom tribe, with everyone who's listening to this on Spotify or Apple or your favorite streaming platform. So now my next question is, how do we get our hands on Healy?
Love that. Send me a message directly.
Okay.
Because the reason why I say that is because I want to know you, and I want to know how you want to implement in your life. And I want to be able to help you specifically on your journey. So the best way to do that is to connect with you, right? And I'm really shifting from making things like a transaction, like you're saying, like big pharma, and having like this band-aid effect and all of that, into how can we connect on a deeper level, what it is that you need, and finding the right model for you, because there are different models that you can use, whether you're using this in your self-care and in your everyday life, or if you even want to build residual income around this. Like, there's so many opportunities that we didn't talk about in this podcast that can help you elevate your life on so many different levels. And so the question is, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know how you're going to use this, and which version would be best for you. And then we can go from there.
So then how do people get in contact with you?
The best way right now is through email. If you can send me an email directly, and I will be able to respond to you. So my email is Celine, Celine, M as in Mary, Degagne last name, which is Degagne @gmail.com. And I will get back to you, and we can start that beautiful conversation. I'd love to have a phone call and have a heart to heart chat.
And I'll make sure to add that into the show notes as well, so people have easy access to you. And I'll add your Instagram so people can follow along on your
Yeah.
journey and see all the magic that you were doing. So, with all that being said, do you have any last pieces of wisdom you would like to share with the Wild Mom tribe?
Hmm. Okay, I'm going to speak from the heart, Emily. So thank you for this opportunity. About 5 years ago, I remember I was taking all of the right marketing strategies, right? And hired a marketer, and I did the quiz, and I said, for your self-care, like, what are your blocks? What are your fears? And like asked all of the right questions, right? And the feedback that I got across the board for the last few years was, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. And I don't know where to start, were the top three things. And so I took that, and I really sat on it for a while, and asked myself, how can we help on a core level? What could be something that anyone can use, rather you understand energies, rather you understand the quantum or you don't, it doesn't matter, rather you're in corporate and you're a professional, rather you're a stay-at-home mom or going to school, right? It doesn't matter what your background is. What can be something that can be easy, that can be intuitive, that helps you do this, right? So that can help you implement this in an easy way, which is saves you time. And the money thing, right? It may be an investment, but how many times have we invested and then we look back and said, that didn't help me on the core level. That was another band-aid thing, or that got me to XYZ, but now I can't use it anymore because the tool didn't evolve with myself, right? So with this tool, what I love, which is why I'm sharing it, is because it hits all of those markers. And even if you don't know where to start, which was the third block, right? This is a beautiful way to start connecting. If you're just starting this energy work and you're a mom and you're feeling overwhelmed with postpartum or whatever it is that you're going through, like, we're here for you. And we're here to give you simple tools that you can apply that'll be worth your time, worth your energy, and worth your money at the end of the day, because we want to get to the core essence of the root, right? We're here to help you. And I know Emily does this in her work, is access the root cause. And that's what this does. Frequency is at the root of everything, not only ourselves, but in nature and everything around us. And the more that we connect to that frequency, the more the healing will happen organically. And the more that we can rise through the chaos. And we're meant to live on purpose. We're meant, yes, to move through the pain, but we're meant to feel the joy and feel the laughter and really expand in this lifetime. And so if you're ready to do that, I would love to help you move through that process. And again, it's all on your own divine time. So once you feel the pull, right? This is not a marketing strategy where we force you to do anything. You will know when the time is right for you, and our door, my love, will be open for that when you're ready. So
Oh, I
thank
just
you.
got goosebumps. Thank you so much for sharing all this wisdom. I have a feeling we're going to have you back so we can dive deeper into more about Healy, because there's so much magic in this technology, and the wisdom that you shared was so truly appreciated. I know for myself, I'm taking it away and I'm like, okay, I've been sitting on getting Healy for a while, and this may just have been that pull for me. So I know other moms listening are going to be feeling the exact same way. So I thank you so much for being here on the Wild Mom podcast.
Thank you, Emily. It's been a pleasure. I love working with you and love being around your beautiful energy. So, bye.
Bye.